Evtol Weekly, episode 11. My name's Liam.
And I'm Reese.
And Reese, we had some severe technical difficulties just then. So, guys, I am so sorry for being late.
Yeah, an absolute nightmare. My Wi-Fi's playing up. I'm not 100% sure what's happened.
We were getting close to sending out a rescue team or creating a GoFundMe for Reese to replace his internet. But anyway, guys, you're here to listen to Evtol, not to hear us rambling. Reese, how was your week?
Yeah, it's going very well. I think it's been quite a quick week since we last spoke. Not any real major news, but there's been a few little gems in there, and it seems to be heating up again. I know the market's not reflecting that, but at the moment I'm quite optimistic on where we're going to go.
Yeah.
How about you? How's your week?
I've had a few of the guys send me some things on X that have been quite exciting. Dylan Rogers, actually, just before the stream, I quickly looked on Discord, and Dylan Rogers sent me quite a nice bit of information there. So we're going to discuss a little bit about that in the stream. Then we done a video this week. I think, will we start off with that?
Yeah, let's jump into that.
Yeah, so we done a video this week where we sort of discussed Cathie Wood's approach to Evtol, and we discovered she's quite bullish and she's doubling down heavily on Evtol. Will we bring up the presentation and we can quickly?
Yes, I think it's the right starting point. So this is the one that we're
moving your phone just because I can hear an earthquake.
Yeah.
So, guys, basically, we've done this to the nearest information we could find. So this is as up-to-date as we can get it. If anyone has any additional information on Cathie Wood's holdings or ARK Invest holdings, please let us know. But what surprised you most about this race?
For me, it was the split between ACHR and Joby. Obviously, we've been discussing this now for the last 9 months or so. And I thought they would have been seeing it a lot more neck and neck. But from this, it seems a lot more like, well, Cathie Wood thinks ACHR is definitely the big player in the game.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because it doesn't really get reflected in terms of what they've done so far in terms of manufacturing and things like that. But obviously the deals and stuff like that, I can sort of see where she's coming from and the more PR side. What about you? What did you see when you first seen this table come up?
So really, that 10-to-1 split is noticeable. Guys, even for ARK Invest, 225 million is not just a drop in the ocean. It's nowhere near one of their biggest investments. However, on such a speculative company, as some may call it, you don't just put a 225 million lotto ticket down. She is quite heavily invested in ACHR. I found it quite strange that the 10-to-1 split, it's Joby that's we're being told is in the lead. They're getting close to certification. So what confused me was if Joby was so far ahead and ACHR was so far behind, why wouldn't you put 200 million in the likes of Joby? Because you could eliminate the competition like ACHR if Joby was such a good business. I got a comment on our recent video that's saying Cathie Wood. I made a comment saying that Cathie Wood speaks to them all the time. She must know something. And got a bit of negative feedback from that. Some of the guys said she only knows whatever's public. Now, guys, I hate to bust your bubble. I'm not saying she knows insider information. However, when you're investing 225 million, I find it hard to believe she hasn't had meetings with these guys. And we don't know what gets discussed. I'm not saying it's massive plans, but you can sort of get a feel for management in a business. And
100%.
What are your thoughts?
And I imagine she'd probably know a few people in that sort of tech sphere, let's say, and everyone will talk. If you're in the cutting edge sort of technology, I imagine there'll be a few times that they see each other in different places, and all it takes is two people who are friends. Oh, actually, this is what we're doing. It might not even be insider information. It's just letting someone know what the business idea is. What is the plan going forward?
And is it the fact that the likes of Joby just even play their cards close to their chest, even when they're talking to the likes of the big fund managers, and they don't want to let them know what's happening?
Well, I think, that's the reflection that we've seen lately with Joby, isn't it? It's just no PR. There's no outreach. It just seems they're very closed off. And to be fair, they seem to be ploughing on, but half of the game is going to be the PR side and how can you sell the product? It's not just making the product.
And then were you quite surprised at her average price between the two?
Yeah, so it was a lot higher than I was expecting, because I was imagining she was going to be getting in when.
So, guys, I think we may have lost Reese. I'll continue speaking. So, going off what I have heard from Reese, he thinks it's a lot higher than the likes of he would have thought, because Cathy Wood's been following this company ever since we've been following it, if not before. Well, definitely before. But the 225 million seems to be a lot more recent that they've started backing up. I have Reese back here.
Hello.
Hello. So what I was following on from what you were saying there, you were saying that the company Cathy Wood bought into Ark Invest, or bought into ACHR Aviation 750. It was a lot higher than you thought.
Say that one more time. I think the internet's just sort of.
No, you're fine. So you were saying Cathy Wood bought into ACHR Aviation at 750. It's a lot higher than you thought.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on that?
100%. Now, I just thought that she's usually there before everyone else, and 750, that kind of was a bit of a show for me that she sort of started buying after the news.
Yeah.
Usually she's buying the rumor. This picking up when we're up to the 750. We're up to the 750 mark. So I was quite surprised, but as we discussed on the stream, I think you made a great point in terms of you might have just bought at a higher point and raised her price average.
Yeah.
And once she's seen how successful the stock had become at the early part of this year, that probably just gave her a bit more fuel to the fire about doubling down and going into ACHR.
Yeah, so I think I made that point before, that sometimes you're better buying into a company. If you're investing that amount of capital, you're better to go in with the information secured. So whether it's deals, whether it's partnerships, yes, we all say about buy the rumor, sell the news. However, sometimes you're better to buy the news because you know exactly what's happening and you know where the business is going. Because you could buy the rumor with Joby, but there is no news.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck in a catch-22. Like, my feelings on Joby at the moment is we were a lot heavier on Joby at the very start, and it was just, if you say, with public information and knowing that they're closer to certification. And I've made this analogy before, where ACHR are laying the foundations, Joby are quickly skying up one wall in the roof. They're getting to certification, but it just feels like they haven't the infrastructure in place ready for mass manufacture.
It does feel like that. It does feel a lot at the moment. Yeah, we desperately need them to start. I know we keep saying that maybe they'll get to type certification, and then in the moment it doesn't feel like they'll have that. It just doesn't feel like they're going to be able to do it unless they get somebody on board who is a PR whiz or like a mastermind, really.
Yeah,
and they need to really keep the ball. By the moment, they're falling quite far behind, and they just need to keep up. This is a cutting-edge technology, and the way that print all of the successes. Yeah, that's what we all want to see, and I think that's what ACHR are doing brilliantly at the moment. because the big point that we've brought up many a time is about consumer adoption is going to be one of our big sticking points. And can Joby overcome the consumer adoption issue without doing an APR? I would be very.
Yeah, so speaking about consumer adoption, Cole's comment actually made me laugh. So Granny's on the freeway. So that sort of ties into our consumer adoption. I think we mentioned it on the last one. I feel like we're sort of at a pivotal point where we can't go after the really young generation because they won't have the money to afford the likes of an Evtol trip. Alexa's trying to help me.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
But then the older generation, it feels like they won't have the confidence or have ever seen the likes of an Evtol in place. Like, could you imagine the likes of your granny flying to get her shopping? So I think I've lost you again there, Ray.
Say that again there, Liam. It cut out.
Yeah, no problem.
My Wi-Fi is terrible today, guys. I don't know what's happening.
So basically, we can't be going after the older generation just because they won't have that confidence. They'll never have heard of an Evtol before. And I'm not being funny, like, lots of the old people around here would barely get on the likes of a commercial airliner, let alone an electric plane. Like, I remember I was speaking to Grandad, and I was on about this Evtols, and he said there is no way that'll never exist. He said it does exist. He said it'll never exist. This is the same man who doesn't believe that the rocket went to the moon or anything. Could you imagine the likes of, say, our Grandad flying in an Evtol? I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I think that generation's going to be missed. I think it'd be nigh on impossible to get them on board. And move forward. Then at this point here, I think we've lost those. They're going to be so stuck in their way. I've never seen anything like this. So
what we're going to do, I keep losing you. So what I'll do, I'll start leading this stream, and I'll let you come in with short thoughts. Is that okay?
Yeah, let me play around with my internet. I'll come back. I'll take it off the hotspot now and see if it works on thing.
Yeah,
let me jump back. I'll be 2 minutes and I'll come back.
Right, guys. Remember, if you want to donate to a GoFundMe for Reese to get a Starlink, I'll send you his address. But anyway, looking at the likes of the share prices across the week, really, we're down 14% over the last 5 days when it comes to ACHR, and then going across to Joby. Joby actually performed a lot better than ACHR in this, and sometimes I think it's a bit like there's more traders in ACHR, and I'm not calling any of you long-term investors that watch the likes of Evtol Weekly, but we are fully aware that there are more traders in ACHR. Now, we have the likes of Trump coming out saying he's going to do a 25% tariff on Canadian steel, and he's come out today and said he's willing to up that another 25%. I could see that tearing down the market. Now, I know I'm going to wait for Reese to come back, so he has a nice opinion on what's happening with the Trump administration at the moment, so I don't want to ruin his spotlight. But he is quite confident that we're going to go back into a bull market within the next month or so, and it's due to the Trump administration. I'll let him back in there. So,
does that
hello? Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, cool.
So then, I'm going to jump across. I done a video this week. So any of you guys may have remembered the likes of last year. It could have been 2 years ago. It's 23, actually. It was during Trump's original campaign. He was saying how bullish he was on the likes of the Evtol market. He wanted to beat China there. He wanted urban air mobility to be the next thing. Then he ended up appointing this secretary, Sean Duffy. This man is quite bullish as well on Evtol. And I feel like in the likes of that video, I tried to structure it in such a way where it sort of brought you through the timeline of what happened. Because if I just brought you this happened, it wouldn't be as bullish as it actually is.
Yeah.
But we know Trump's thoughts on Evtol. We know Sean Duffy's thoughts on Evtol. And I feel like at the very start, Sean Duffy couldn't have done anything because within 2 days of him being appointed, we had that helicopter catastrophe.
Yeah.
So how could he then go and say, look, I'm looking at electric air taxis?
I'm adding another type of sort of aviation, and people are going to say, well, that's just going to be as risky.
Yeah.
So you do have to let just the news part at times.
So then we had Sean Duffy actually invite Adam for a meeting, and what they're trying to basically do is expedite the process to certification. Now, we know Joby's ahead. I'm not disputing that Joby's ahead in certification. However, when they say expedite, how quickly are they going to expedite this? Because we know the edge to Joby's sword is being ahead in certification. But will the likes of working closely with Secretary Duffy be able to, basically what we've said before, Joby are breaking their way through this certification and ACHR are just going to streamline through it because they know what's happening. I would have liked to see the likes of Joe Ben in a picture like this and come out and say, look, we're speaking to Secretary Duffy too. What are your thoughts on that?
100%. I think that was an excellent video, and for anyone who hasn't seen it has to go and watch that video. I think you've really explained the importance for both Secretary Duffy and Trump on eVTOLs becoming mainstream. So I think that's such a good video to watch. In terms of him, he seems to be, he's got the right attitude for the eVTOLs and getting them into certification. Because obviously, if you had someone who's slightly more opposed, he can speak to the FAA and make it more difficult. And with the latest aviation disasters that we've seen, it would be very easy for him to do it because it's a great PR spin.
I actually, I brought up a comment there, and we actually might go back to it when you were off the stream. So I was talking a little bit about the tariffs and that, and we have Canada. They're more or less putting 25% tariffs on the steel now, and he's come out today and he said, look, he's willing to go up to 50% for steel and aluminium. What were your thoughts? You've done a nice video on the tariffs affecting the eVTOL market. Do you want to speak a little bit about that for the guys?
Yeah, 100%. So the tariffs, obviously we have Joby, they're vertically integrated. Really, they shouldn't be too affected. It'd only be their raw materials that could be affected with these latest tariffs from China, Mexico, Canada. In terms of ACHR, on the other hand, we do have a slight bit of more of a problem. They outsource a lot of their components. One thing, though, I would like to bring up is that Adam Goldstein, as we've been saying, it might even be the tweet below that one, comes out and mentions that the tariffs should not affect.
Find it here for you.
Yeah, the tariffs should not affect ACHR because they don't get any of their components from Canada, Mexico, or China at the moment, which is obviously brilliant news for all of us investors. And it's just another feather in the cap for ACHR where they alleviate.
My screen here. We're all full of technical difficulties today.
Yeah, it's just a plain tweet, I believe. I don't think it's got a photo or anything on it. But it's just another example where they alleviate the stress that we're all feeling. Because obviously when we see them tariffs and we know the business model of ACHR, you do start thinking, oh, damn, like this could end up raising the cost of each Midnight aircraft significantly. But assuming that they're not actually sourcing any components from one of these countries, in theory, they shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. But I do think that Trump's going to eventually get some sort of agreement and reduce these tariffs anyway. So they shouldn't be a long-term problem.
So that was what I was saying to the guys before. You had an opinion on of the Trump administration and that that the tariffs aren't gonna last forever.
Nah, I don't think so. It's just a bargaining tool. It's like dropping the anchor, isn't it? You drop the anchor, and then you're saying like that's the worst case scenario, and then you meet somewhere in the middle, and then the stocks will rally. And yeah, at the moment it's good time to buy in my opinion.
Yeah. So really, guys, we've been getting a lot of people lately on our videos. Basically, look, I want to tell you, me and Reese are not financial advisors whatsoever, and no matter how many times we say it, we still get people asking us, should I buy now? Should I sell this and buy this? Look, we can't advise. However, I know what I would say to Reese now at the moment is the S&P is down 10% from its all-time high. So if you're really doubting anything, you don't know whether to buy or sell in the likes of ACHR and Joby, you don't know if it's going lower or higher. I've said it before, my tactic is always, if I don't know what I'm doing, bang it in the S&P, wait for a little bit of stabilization, and then jump in. You don't have to catch the bottom. That's not what we're here for. As long as you catch the rise up, it doesn't really matter. And the likes of the S&P, at least if you have caught the bottom, you're still going to rally up. Yes, not half as much as the likes of Joby or ACHR will, but I just don't want to say, look, now's an unbelievable time to buy, and then let's drop another 10, 20%. Yeah. Because look, none of us know what's going to happen. We could, everyone's saying, and they're going to hate me for saying this, we could end up back in the free range. There's nothing stopping that. At the moment, we're not making significant revenue. Yes, we have a cash runway, but the further and further that goes, the less and less the sentiment will be behind you.
Yeah.
So, really, what my advice to Reese would be get into the S&P if you doubt. I'm not a madman for holding a significant amount of cash. What are you like with it, Reese?
I like to put a bit, if we're talking physical cash, no, but put some in savings, and then the money that I want to invest, I put in, and then it's times like these where I'll just start adding. S&P, I know your tactic for the S&P. I do quite rate the tactic, but I don't know. I like that bit more volatility, with the stocks like the Rocket Labs, the Teslas are really far down at the moment. Palantir's dropped back down. There's a lot of stocks, as well as our beloved Joby and ACHR, that I think are very good opportunities at the moment, and it's going to be reflected on our road to glory.
Yeah, Palantir is one. Some of the guys are actually mentioning it. We should add it to the road to glory. And to be fair, it's starting to get to a price where I actually am considering it actually might be a decent addition to the road to glory. And guys, if you've any thoughts on what stocks you'd added to the road to glory, please let me know. I also started a bit of a series, and I got a little bit of hate on it today. Was their $1 million video. So by no way am I saying in any of them videos that any of these stocks are rallying high enough for you to have $1 million if you put a small amount of money into it. I am just projecting different scenarios that may occur and how many shares you'd need in each scenario. Now, if you want me to do a video like that on any stock, please let me know. But I had a guy today basically telling me that Rocket Lab is not going to get to SpaceX's valuation and it's a pointless video. And I thought, nowhere did I say it was going to get to SpaceX's valuation. I was projecting for the guys, if we got to SpaceX's valuation, this is how many shares you'd need. And that was not what the whole video was about.
And I don't think it's because SpaceX will be 10 times bigger, let's say, in 5 years. And there's no reason why Rocket Lab can't be that as well. I do think Rocket Lab's a bit of a sleeping giant. Obviously, the Neutron and stuff coming out. And they're sort of the next step in front of where ACHR and Joby are at the moment, in terms of they've actually got the product and it's it's actually in use. It's being commercialized. And And I'm quite hopeful now to see the end of this year when we do get our first few flights, get our revenue in. It's going to be a big step.
Yeah, like I've made it pretty clear. Like I am extremely bullish on the likes of Evtol, but like Rocket Lab is my baby. I just think it's a not miss. I think it's one in a lifetime opportunity for me to do something well. I think Rocket Lab will get there. ACHR, I am getting very, very close to the confidence I have in Rocket Lab. I feel like once we start getting the Midnights on the ground, I just think.
I'm just finding it very. I'm actually a little bit disappointed because I did have a lot more in Joby. And now it's getting to a stage where I've been adding to ACHR, and I do think now ACHR's got to be a much bigger position. And that's not just down to what Kathy Wood was saying. It's actually a lot down to our discussions with PR, how we keep seeing it. Just I do think a lot of this game at this stage, where we're not neither company are actually commercialized and flying, is about the PR side of it.
It's do what you can do.
What can you do with investor confidence? And I just feel their investor confidence is a lot higher at the moment because we know what they're doing, and you feel like they're quite trustworthy in terms of that. But to be fair, Joby are delivering. I just need to hear a bit more from them. What about you? What's your feelings at the moment?
Really? Oh, I hate to say it because I'm going to get butchered. I've been trying to stick up for Joby, left, right, and centre, but I'm starting to really I'm starting to run out of ammunition to protect them. There's only so much we can do and say good about Joby without highlighting their weak spots, and their weak spots are starting to outshine their good spots when you compare them to the likes of ACHR. I just feel like ACHR's not only doing something different, they're not only building the foundation, but they're also closing the gap. At the moment, they're a 3.5 million market cap, ACHR, and Joby's just over the 5 billion.
The one thing I was thinking the other day was I don't feel like they were that bad until the end of December. It was as if almost they went on a break for their Christmas break and they never came back. Because I feel like before they were if one put out some news, the other person put out news, and then it was just that was it. It was a bit of a battle. We were doing videos every day on it because you've done this, we done that, and then now we've got to a stage where they're just we had radio silence. I'm pretty sure it was February 18th or something before we heard from them. 6 weeks later.
I'll be dead honest with the guys.
6 weeks.
Back in September, October, me and you used to have to comment at the start of the week and be like, right, do you want to cover Joby this week? I'll cover ACHR. Because there'd be that much.
There was so much news. And now we've got to a stage where it's just the well dried up, and you're just sitting there going surely something's happened. Or have you just downed tools for the last 2 months? Let's be realistic here. There's definitely you could be surely you can be making a news article about something. It just takes a couple of tweets. Give us something to talk about. Give the investors something to talk about, and then people will see that from the outside.
And that's one thing I want to say to the guys too. We started this channel as ACHR and Joby and Evtols and that, and you've seen us start pumping out the likes of Redwire, Rocket Lab, Blade and Hover. I've added a little bit this into video content. I haven't added. No, not a chance. I am the position now, bro. I ain't touching them.
Jesus, that would be
I don't know much about Blade. I haven't probably looked into it, but I ain't touching Hover with a barge pole.
Blade is going to be. Blade's not really They do helicopter services and stuff now, but until the Evtols are up and running, there's no real reason for them to excel. I don't think. That's because I do think that Uber, but then even then, will the Uber Elevate be better than anything that Blade can offer? Who knows?
Now, the one thing I do think Joby could excel in, and guys, let me know on this, and this is my thoughts. This is not that I have found this anywhere. This is genuinely me speaking from the heart. Do you think Joby could elevate themselves by opening up Uber Elevate? So basically, it doesn't matter what eVTOL you are. You can use their platform to book and all that, and basically like an Uber.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, say Uber owned a certain amount of cars, but then say like they then opened up their platform that the likes of like an ACHR, a Hover, could fly in them, and Joby take a part of that revenue. That could be a good business model. And then basically you have the likes of your Joby aircraft, but you're also generating easy revenue from the likes of Midnight's operating.
I feel like if they can get the Uber Elevate working, that is such an advantage, because for me personally, whenever I'm booking like a cab or a car to take me somewhere, I'll always go with Uber. It's just convenient. I know it. I know there's Bolt and stuff. Sometimes they're cheaper. When they first came on, they were a lot cheaper, but now it's gone to the same price. I would just go with Uber. So it's a huge step forward. And if you're trying to bring on a complete new venture with the eVTOLs, you need them to be able to trust in the brand of Uber. And if it's just on that Uber app, what a brilliant way, because it's just literally just the push of a button, change from motorbike, car to eVTOL.
Now, that's the only thing that scares me. So any of the guys that are new to eVTOL, when we're saying Uber Elevate, it's Elevate OS. It just used to be called Uber Elevate before Joby rebranded it. But wouldn't you have liked them to sort of have a clause or something with Uber, because Uber are investing in them, to keep the name Uber Elevate, because it'll hit harder?
It has to be, really, like that. That is the main driving force, I think, from it. Because without that, it's just another app, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I know they're using the same technology, but like people want the brand, they want the name, and they want to know something they can trust.
And then Bill Pearson says Uber can't logically be Joby only. There will be a side-by-side access to both. But this is where I think Uber have got it right, yeah? And don't quote me on this, because there might be a stipulation in here. But I believe that what's going to happen is Joby will operate Elevate OS, and it'll be Joby only. And I believe Uber's plan will be they will have all the eVTOLs on it. Because why would they give that business away? And they don't only have the business there, but they're also invested in Joby. So one of their competitors, they own a sharing. So
yeah. So they're making money both ways.
But that's only my fault. So, Bill, I'm not shooting you down. But that is what I sort of believe in. I want to catch up with a few of these comments because they're all flying in at the moment.
Yeah, stacking up now.
They really are stacking up, not gonna lie. Bag says he loves Reddit. No, he loves Reddit. No, everyone hates him. We'll never hate you, Bag. Go left, sweet. In the big race. Hey y'all, I vote no here. I'm Joby's trending down. Archer isn't. More risk in Joby vertical manufacturing, but higher return potential at the moment.
Yeah.
More risk in Joby's vertical, but higher return potential. Do you believe there's a higher return potential in Joby? I actually believe there's a higher return potential in Archer. And I think there's a bigger risk in Archer. I still believe, and I think market sentiment kind of shows you that Archer has an awful lot of traders in it. Archer pulled back massively, where Joby's sort of sitting around that 680 mark and just chilling.
Yeah, it was a bit more volatile, wasn't it, Archer? I think maybe he's saying about going out and getting the components that are already made from the aerospace contractors. But I don't know, if you can build everything in-house, that's preferential. It really means that you're not relying on the supply chain if you can get it up and running perfectly. But that's another reason why we were big Joby fans.
No Blade or New Blade. He should become a hustle, bro. But look at that. We should have him on the stream here. Don't forget the likes, people, for the algorithm. Yeah, guys, make sure you hit that like button.
100% hit that like button.
6 likes for 17 watching. I'm actually quite disappointed for that. We're here every week. Do you know what, mate? Will we just pack up and go home? Guys, make sure you get them likes up, please. Bag, I liked. Depending on how you look at it, Cafe bought half a position in July, September 23. 2 million shares sold 1 year later for a lot. Dylan, we talking about Joby or ACHR? Neither Joby or ACHR offer your granny unless she's out. The Bag, never here to shut you down. Love your thoughts and opinions. Bag, 100%. I do respect your thoughts and opinions. Exactly. I think some of them are quite funny, but I do actually, some of them.
Yeah, it's good to have an opposing view. You don't want everyone having just one mindset and one view.
I want to say that, like, if we were all here just rallying the stock together, and like, if we brought no negative news whatsoever, we'd all be buying, and then next thing market drops, and then we don't know what's happened. At least when you get these negative views coming in, you can sort of see where the sentiment's going. You can see what's happening, if there is a reason for the market to go down, or is it just market sentiment? I can see you laughing. What? 8 likes now, guys.
Yeah, we're progressing.
Reese is going to have to get on his knees here. Come on.
We're going to have to bring Big Reese back. Big Reese back.
Will have to come back. Guys, if we get to 15 likes, Big Reese is coming out. Do you read the Discord sometimes? Are you on about our Discord? I read our Discord all the time.
That's a big upside.
ACHR's a big upside because of Andrew. So
if
Andrew goes public, I am going to be the biggest fanboy going. I think Andrew are amazing. And that is definitely one stock I will be covering from day dot. I will buy that on IPO if it comes out.
It did feel like that was sort of the place where ACHR left Joby behind, that defense move. And at the time we did discuss it, saying that was it the right thing? Were they going to be taken on too much and not focusing on getting the part certification? But there we go. We're looking back now, and
you'll get Big Reese on his knees if we get to 15 likes.
I ain't getting my knees for anyone.
They'll go public, no issue there. 28 billion market cap. Do you think they'll go public at the, like, are they allowed to go public at that 28 billion, or is that the valuation they've put on themselves, and then does it get negotiated? I really don't, like, I proper haven't looked into mad IPOs in a long time, so please come back to me on that. No, you shouldn't be buying for long term without doing proper due diligence. The crash could be a buying opportunity if you're confident. Just don't try and catch falling knife, and that is
100%.
Massive advice. Genuinely, S&P's pulled back 10%. That is by nowhere a massive crash. So we could continue nosediving. And I feel like until we get a relief on these tariffs, if he just keeps coming out and keeps battering the tariffs out, I just think we're just going to keep nosediving. And that's why I'm very careful in the market at the moment.
There's a bit of a tax season now around these times. I like, to be honest, the next month or so, I think we're going to need to see a bit of a balance, and then it will start like towards the end of the year, 1,000,000% it will be rallying again. I do think this is just a negotiation tactic at the moment. It wouldn't surprise me.
I think what people have to be sort of clued in on too. I think in bull markets, people get very used to watching the market every day and buying in at these little opportunities. Sometimes I always do it when the market is dropping down. Sometimes you just need to take a step back, pull your chart out, put it back 3 months, and sort of see what's happening. Loads of guys do the likes of day trading, and by no means am I however good I am at investing, I am shocking at day trading. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we were to day trade, what needs to happen now? You need to take a step back, and your day trading strategy needs to turn into a month trading strategy, and take a look at it in the medium term. I wouldn't be worried about these swings throughout the day. Look, these specs of companies are gonna shoot 10% up and down. If you're on the right side of it, yeah, you can make a nice bit of money. But look, are you doing any little trades at the moment?
No, I can't. I told you I delete the apps. I can't do. I've dabbled around with trying to day trade and week trade, and it's just not good for my health. It gives me too much stress. I'm too worried about it, and I just make a lot of bad decisions because I'm getting too emotionally invested in it going up 2%, going down, and trying to quickly make a quick buck. I found out that doing a method of time in the market, as we always say, has worked out a lot better. And it just means that you have to have a look at the stock and where do you think it will be in the next 5 years. And as Warren Buffett always say, don't invest in the stock for 5 minutes if you would invest for the next 10 years or 5 years, wherever you is your time horizon. But that's the main thing. I don't think you should be really in a stock trying to make a quick buck. You might as well go down to the casino and put it all on black.
Like,
what about you? What's your? Do you do any little day trades? I know you were trading Uber there for a bit and Nvidia, and you were doing all right.
Uber worked out nicely. I made a video on my Nvidia trade, so I made money on my Nvidia trade, but I bought Rocket Lab, ACHR, Joby, and all that. It's like hype. So like, it swings and roundabouts. I can't say how good I am. Look, if I was like one of these mad YouTubers that like mad pump, I'd say that I made mad money on like Uber and Nvidia. But I'll be dead honest, and I said it in that video. Was it a mistake? Because it was literally I'd done it the day it was collapsing.
Do you know what I would say about that though? Is the fact that all of them stocks are stocks that you would believe in, and if you did get caught and the price all of a sudden dropped, you wouldn't mind being in them stocks. It's not like you were just in there just for the trade. You knew that after a while you would definitely get your money back plus one.
And that's one thing I want to say to the guys too. Don't go into the likes of ACHR and Joby just because people are saying go into heavy into ACHR, heavy into Joby, and don't just. This is not advice, but I wouldn't just sell my Joby position just because you hear like me and Reese saying it and the whole chat's agreeing.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be dead honest with you, our community is more ACHR focused than Joby. Yeah. And that is not our doing. It's just there seems to be more ACHR believers.
Yeah.
But don't let that sway you if you are heavily believing in Joby, because one thing I want to say is when you're in these stocks that are pre-revenue and they're this volatile, you need to have stomach, because you need to get ready for a roller coaster. And I had a lot of guys in that video where was it a mistake, and they were sort of trying to advise me on you shouldn't be investing in this, that, and the other if you don't know this, that, and the other. Look, I believe in these companies. This is my personal journey, and this is my opinion on what happened. Did I make a mistake that day? Look, we've all made mistakes in the market. You could be Warren Buffett. I'm sure Warren Buffett has made many mistakes.
Yeah.
He's been on the right side many a time.
yeah, maybe a few more times than us.
the moral of the story is you're looking at the next Warren Buffett. Just stick with me.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman crossed Warren Buffett. Like, what more can you ask for?
What a hybrid.
On a serious note, you need to have stomach to be in these.
Yeah.
What is happening in the chat? The chat is absolutely exploding. That's their current valuation. I'll rebut that in a bit. it's okay to catch a fallen knife as long as you're okay with it falling further. It will still go up as you DCA over time. And I agree with that call. That is a good point. If you believe in it, it doesn't really matter. Like, I have no intention of selling Rocket Lab, Archer, and Joby. I tell a lie now. If I could get some of my shares out of Joby, I probably would now and bang them across to Archer. I do have. I'm not saying I'm selling out before that anyone comes at me and say you're an idiot, you're selling Joby. I have built quite a substantial position in both of them, but me and Reese have had the discussion this week, and I think we are starting to hedge our bets closer to Archer.
The one thing I would say that I've learned this lesson so many times, but it takes, it's the greed that overcomes you. And we discussed this before. I think we discussed this in December and probably in January as well. Is that when we did get to the all-time high there earlier in the year, I shedded off maybe 5%, but I did say before 20% was going to be my target. But I was riding the wave. And I believe, like, it's just like any sort of investment. You just get caught up with it, and you're like, "But what if it went higher?" And when I'd done the 5%, it actually ended up going higher than where I was. So then I'd sort of been burnt. But I knew at some point we were going to come back and consolidate, and I would like to have that 20% to like now buy back in, and just increase that share count. And that's definitely something for next time we do see them heights. I'm going to have to be. You have to be quite brave, I think, because you're worried of the FOMO, like missing out on that opportunity of it going a bit higher. But that's something I've got to do this time, because I hate riding it up and then riding it straight back down, and then just no actual gain for it.
And that's one thing I want to say. I respect. There's 26 people here between X and YouTube, and you guys are doing your due diligence at times like this, because I would bring it up, but I don't want any personal information shown on the likes of our YouTube studio. But looking at sentiment over the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we had a bit of a push around the earnings. But we're seeing our views drop off as the sentiment in the market drops. And then it's funny, when you have a green day, like when Archer pumped up, next thing our views pop up. And it's nothing to do with anything we're talking about in the video. It's like people get this extreme confidence when the market's going well, and they think they need to know all the information going.
Yeah.
But then when the market's going down, it's like people like, I done it myself. I used to do it with Rocket Lab. I'd be watching the likes of Vince, Dave G, and all that as we were riding up. And then as soon as we go on a pullback, I wouldn't want to see them guys for a while. And then as soon as we go back up, it'd be like, "Oh, what are you saying again?" But
do you know what? It's because it's the amount of pain that it brings you. Like, you don't want to see the red days. Like, no one wants to see it. No one's. That's what I got. Like, we're coming here to talk about it. This is like a therapy session.
That's what it is. Like, sometimes the post-mortem of what has just happened. Post-mortem, and we done it after the lives, after the earnings. The post-mortem of what has just happened, it actually calms you down, and then you don't actually get as emotional about it. Get emotional in the chat. Get emotional here on camera. Like, if you want to call in at far and you're really stressed about a stock, look, me and Reese are not going to give you advice. However, if you want to come in and basically do what me and Reese do and explain to us where you are in a stock, we're not going to give you advice. However, we can word it as, Liam, what would you do in this situation? Reese, what would you do in this situation?
Yeah.
And would be fully comfortable with that. As long as you're respectful, I have no problem with that. Right. There was... What's this? Licking their wounds, ego dashed. That was us massively. Buffett became rich when one trade was $20 per paper in fee. We're in algo, Robin Hood world. Now trillions move every day. True, but we're going to get to that stage. I am the next Warren Buffett. That's right. No, our DMs are open. I am with you. No, I know Buffett did his thing, but I wonder what people said about him when he first started. Probably told him Coke was nothing more than a drink, and that is okay. I'm going to move on from that.
Yeah, no, I do think it's a good point though, in terms of like,
I do think it's a good point.
And now look how big Coke is. They literally pretty much produce all sort of fizzy drinks. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And one thing I said it the last day in a video as well. Like, we're quite big admirers of Cathie Wood, and that's no reason why anyone should follow her. And I don't believe in absolutely every trade she does, but it feels like lots of people believed in Cathie Wood when it was all going well, like we're saying, and like us with the Evtol. No, guys, I actually don't care if this guy is here. A comment that made me die was when, remember your man turned around and goes, thanks to you, my wallet is now hurt. After the big pullback. Like, why blame me? Like, at no point have I ever said buy into ACHR.
What the point is, my wallets are as well. Like anyone who's invested in the last like 2 weeks, their wallets were down. Like, we might say we're Warren Buffett, but we haven't got that much effect on the market. Like,
yeah.
And like, it was harsh. Like, I don't know what we could have done.
And it's a bit harsh, but like, I'm not being funny. When you write a comment like that, we will sort of kind of laugh about it, because like, if you're silly enough to buy in just because you watch me and Reese have a laugh and a joke here, and yes, we provide information and we talk to the comments, but we're not special. We don't work for ACHR or Joby and tell you all this information. We're basically providing everything we can find. But that's no reason. That is not your due diligence. That is not like, just from what me and Reese talk about here, that's not all we think about when we're doing the stock.
I think as well, like to buy into a stock, because I'm presuming that person must have bought in the last 2 months, to then say that the stock is down after we've said many a time that this is a stock for the future.
And how many times do we call the pullbacks common?
And and it's still the case if you're putting all of your income or your disposable, like hopefully it's the disposable income, and I'm hoping it's not anyone's mortgage or
sold the house. You put someone out of a house, mate.
But that's what I mean. Like, I don't want people to be like doing that to stage, because like this could be something that takes the next 3 to 5, 10 years. Like, this is more like an investment that could end up paying for your house outright. But it's not going to be a 3-month thing where you put this money and it magically generates to be 10 times what it is. If you want that, you should probably hit one of the crypto channels up.
Yeah.
But like, they'll take your money even quicker. It won't just be a 10%, 20%. That'll be 100%.
But you know what it is, yeah? Guys like that need to think. Like, trust me, if we knew what was happening, like, no. This used to go around, but it's not going around as much now. Loads of people saying we're shorting it. Guys, we cannot turn the market. I can trust you with 1,900 people. I don't care if we were all millionaires, bro. We ain't moving the market.
Nah, not at all.
So even if me and Reese came out every day and said the worst news going, all that's going to happen is people are going to stop watching us. If we don't tell the truth, people are going to stop watching us.
And do you know how that's true? I done my EHang video and the stock went up.
You got ripped on that. All the EHang boys started coming after you.
Yeah. But the stock for EHang went up. So that's the direct inverse of what I would have been planning. I was saying
I am sorry, guys. This is actually turning into a therapy session about our channel. Guys, let us know. Do you want us to go back to Evtol? Do you want us to keep talking about this? But really, that guy did make me laugh, because he thinks by saying a comment like that, it's going to upset us or this, that, and the other. All that's going to happen there is me and Reese going to ring each other, and we're going to take the beep out of you and your comment. So don't bother trying to slag us. Trust me.
But I think for that one, just like have time. Like, don't put the money in and then like as soon as it goes down, because if they had joined in November, let's say, we'd rallied over a couple 100%. Like and then when we gone down 20%, then to come and start complaining, like you're like, what do you want us to do?
But it
like,
shows
we're as upset as you. Like we're probably even more. Like so, I don't know. But then that's just a new investor, and like we don't want to scare people away from that. But we're just here.
That's your opinion when something goes down 20% or 10%. No, it happened pretty quickly. It happened like the day or two after the pullback.
Yeah,
it was only down like 10% or so.
It was the first pullback that we see.
What's happening? Like how a stock market works. It does go up and down. You do get these volatile days, and you don't follow a trade just because a YouTuber has said so. Like, I think. Look, I would love to be able to move a market, trust me. But at no point, even if we had 100,000 people here, you wouldn't move a market. You've seen Cathie Wood has 225 million in ACHR. She could easily go and triple that tomorrow. Like, and really, like, I don't know. 1,900 people is not going to do nothing. So just please leave it alone when it says like we're moving the market. It's a privilege to say that we can move the market, but we can't.
Yeah, unfortunately.
21 people in the chat. Like, subscribe, or let's send Morgan Buffett a big reset. Do you know what, Cole? You need to call into the channel at some point because you actually seem like such crack. By the way, if it was an invitation earlier, DM me on Discord and we can have a call together, guys. Yeah, no problem.
Sounds good.
If you trade off YouTube opinion, you shouldn't be trading at all. Agree with that. What about the FAA pausing the new collateral until March 20? I think they will review them and come back with a shorter reserve requirement. Bag, are you getting any closer to believing that this Evtol will work? Now, please come back with a serious answer. Don't come back and say something like £200, 5 miles. But tell me why you still don't believe it's going to work.
Yes, the day we convert Bag will be the day that I know this is.
You know 100%. What? And guys, by the way, I haven't forgotten about my blue hair. My girlfriend's coming on Friday, and I will have blue hair. So the next live stream,
I can't believe the chat done.
You will have a blue hair, Morgan Buffett.
Yeah.
Guys, should we do a live stream? When do you want the next live stream? Do you want it next Evtol weekly, or do you want to have an emergency one at some stage to see Morgan Buffett's blue hair? And do you want me to video it? Do you know what?
Are you going to do a video?
Join the Discord. It's completely free. Look, this is not me being. If I was a salesman, I was going to say a bad word there, but I don't want to get demonetized. But if I was a salesman, I could sell this to you. But guys, join this for free and you'll see my blue hair. I'll put a video of me actually dyeing my hair blue in it.
I still can't believe that. I can't believe the amount of subscribers there were.
Do you know what? I'll actually be dead honest to the guys. I didn't believe it was going to actually get to 1,900. Yeah. So I was like, what can I do? That is absolutely wild. And I was like, blue hair. And then I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Because it was like, there was like 300 people in the chat or something. And we were like 100 away. And I was like, yeah, there's no way. And then I didn't have YouTube open. I just had the streaming open. And I was like, yeah, 1,900. And we were literally about to come off. And it was when I just refreshed the app and I was like, no. But no, do you know what? I'm a man of my word. I will dye my hair blue for it.
I'd love to see the first meeting when everyone sees you with blue hair. They'll be thinking, what has gone on? And the explanation is going to be even more difficult.
How am I going to explain? I was talking about flying cars. And I said, if I get 100 people to
subscribe,
agree to it, I will dye my hair blue. And it's a cracking idea.
And they did it. And then they'll be like, what did you get out of that? Well, just the subscribers.
Yeah. I got told I took money off some fella, his wallet.
Yeah. I also got told I looked like Morgan Freeman, so I had to dye my hair blue.
Yeah.
Trying to avoid that allegation.
I actually after it was like 2 streams ago. It was Morgan Freeman we were on about, and first call with the missus, I was like, "Do I look like Morgan Freeman?" She was like, "What are you on about?" And I was like, "No, but do I look like Morgan Freeman?" And she hadn't a clue what it was on about. And I was like, "Yeah, I've been told I look like Morgan Freeman by many a person." Guys, let me know if I look like Morgan Freeman. Video it 100%. I will, guys. Make sure to bang the subscribe button and join that Discord, and I promise you, I will film it. What's Nasfig?
I have no idea.
I don't think it's a nice word.
It doesn't seem like it, does it?
It doesn't seem like a nice word. Please come back and say that word to me. What are the Evtol news? I actually want to cover something that Dylan Rogers sent me before this, because I told him I would cover it. So here it is. Here. Adam Goldstein put out today that they've acquired some of Lilium's engineers, and I would really love some of the Lilium bulls. Not a single is given. 100 people fought. So, Lilium, they've acquired some of their engineers.
I think that's quite good. Lilium seems to have good tech. We just don't want the accountants from Lilium. That was the main problem there, wasn't it? Cash-wise.
I know Vaz, one of the other Evtol guys, he said that he believes it's going into the United Arab Emirates. He could see it happening. Do you think this is the end of it?
Well, yeah, their team getting stolen is probably not a good sign.
And put it this way, I honestly believe they're not just taking any engineers, they're taking their best engineers.
The German engineers, as Cole said.
German engineers are always good. Any acronym with an F isn't nice.
Yeah, I think that's a better one. Yeah. Anyway, Liam, I'm going to have to shoot. I've got Cheltenham tomorrow, so thanks, guys, for watching.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Have a good Evtol Weekly.
Yeah, until next week, Chris. Make sure to bang that subscribe button. And guys, yeah, we'll see you next week with my blue hair noob.
Let's go.